This all happened around 10 years ago, during what felt like the absolute worst months of my life. I'd just turned 18 when my mom's gambling addiction led us to lose the house I had lived in my entire life. Almost immediately after, a family friend offered us a place to stay. She and her husband had a few extra rooms in their large house. At first, things seemed great. The family, consisting of the entitled parents and their entitled kid, who was my age, welcomed us warmly. They offered to let my mom and me stay as long as we needed to get back on our feet. The entitled mom even helped me land my first job as a volunteer at a bingo hall. It was under the table money, but I didn't care. It was something my mom couldn't or wouldn't provide. The entitled parents had been family friends for years and were obsessed with the idea of me and their kid getting together. They constantly made comments like, "Look at the beautiful couple," or "You two look so great together." Despite my repeated insistence that I wasn't interested in him that way, they seemed determined to play matchmaker, almost like it was some kind of arranged marriage. I think this really inflated the entitled kid's ego. About a month into my stay, the first incident happened. We were walking down the hall when he suddenly smacked my butt. I freaked out, yelling and shoving him. Our parents rushed upstairs to see what the commotion was about, and we ended up getting separated. I told my mom what happened, but she brushed it off, saying it wasn't a big deal and that I shouldn't rock the boat while we were living there. EK eventually gave me a half-hearted apology at dinner, while his dad joked about how relieved he was that his son was finally interested in girls. Things escalated quickly from there. Whenever EK had the chance, he would make lewd comments or find ways to grope me. Every time I went to his parents, they waved it away as "boys will be boys," or insisted he didn't mean it that way. They claimed he was a sweet guy deep down, and that I should get to know him better. On one occasion, the entitled dad even told me I should be flattered. My mom, enjoying the free ride, told me to stop playing hard to get. One day, while I was sitting on the couch, EK put his hand down my shirt. I yelled at him, demanding he stop and never do it again. He shot me a terrifying glare and said, "Shut up, you live in my house." After that, I was terrified to be alone with him. I would stay at school as long as possible and hide in my room with the door locked whenever I had to go back home. Fast forward a few months and I was told, not asked, that I was going to EK's senior prom as his date. The entitled parents were thrilled and said we'd have the whole house to ourselves afterward. I quickly shut that down, explaining that I wouldn't go because of how he treated me. They spent the entire day trying to convince me, first offering to pay for my dress and ticket. When that didn't work, they guilt-tripped me, saying it was the least I could do and how much EK would love it. Eventually, my mom came home from the casino and was furious. She insisted I go, claiming it was a big opportunity for both of us, and told me to tell the entitled parents I'd changed my mind. I refused. The day after EK's prom, the entitled parents sat my mom and me down for a talk. They announced new rules. We were expected to pitch in for all the amenities, buy our own food, and start paying rent. Previously, they had insisted we wouldn't have to pay anything, wanting us to save money to get back on our feet. Even without my mom blowing her checks at the casino, there was no way we could afford what they were asking. They gave us a month to find a new place and move out. We ended up relocating to a sketchy neighborhood with a guy my mom was dating, whom she met at the casino. My mom blamed me for everything, saying I blew a golden opportunity for both of us, and that I threw away a great future because I wouldn't dance and put out. That hurt deeply, and I still feel angry about it. A few months later, I graduated, but my mom didn't show up to the ceremony. When I returned home, all my stuff was on the curb next to the trash, thoroughly picked through. My key didn't work anymore, and no one was answering their phones. I waited until 3 a.m. for them to come back from the casino. My mom told me in no uncertain terms that I was on my own now. Nothing I said could change her mind, so I packed what little of my stuff was left into my car. For the next month or two, I couch surfed or slept in my car while trying to pick up as many work shifts as possible. Eventually, I saved enough to move into my first apartment with a roommate. I haven't spoken to my mom or the entitled parents since then, but recently, my mom left me a voicemail asking if we could talk. She didn't like how we left things. Since then, she's been blowing up my phone every day. I don't plan on ever taking her call. Thank you to anyone who read this far into my ranting and venting. I didn't intend for it to be this long. Update: I know this sounds cliché, but I'm genuinely overwhelmed by the support I've received. I want to thank each and every one of you who left a comment, sent a message, or offered advice. I wish I could repay you all, but for now, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.